This one, it might not be. If you were Seth Stos, you'd be much better at answering this question.
Yes.
But we'll just kind of talk about this in the broad sense. Doc Bauer asks, "Who is your surprise Twins minor leaguer?" And since you know only two, Buxton and Sano, maybe we'll skip that. But so he lists the Baseball America ranked the top 10 prospects coming into the season. Just rattling them off. Number 1 was Buxton, Sano, Alex Meyer, Cole Stewart, Jose Barrios, Eddie Rosario, Thorpe. Can't remember his first name now. Trevor May, Danny Santana, and Jorge Polanco. Any of these guys surprise you? Any of them not surprise you?
Barrios is a surprise just how young he is.
And how quickly he's moved, too.
Yeah, he's moving up. I mean, he's got a decent chance of being up here next year at 22, 21, 22.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be him. I know 3.
Okay. 3 of them.
There you go.
Yeah. So he surprised you a little bit?
Yeah, just because of how well he's done and how rapidly they're moving him. If you're 20, he's a guy the Twins usually would just stay at A.
Just, throw your 4 pitches.
Do your A thing, and then we'll move you up next year.
Yeah.
Anytime you hear 20-year-old, you're like, okay, well, they're still 4 years away.
A lot of time for your arm to break.
He sounds like he's 9 months away.
Mm-hmm. So,
anybody surprise you on that list?
On that list, well, Rosario was the guy that was going to be out for the 50 games.
Right.
And, he hasn't hit very well, and that's more or less what you expect out of somebody who, misses all camp and, has to take some time to get used to it.
Could he be around the team during those 50 games, or is he out? Is he gone?
He was gone for most of the 50. I think he was in for camp for a while where there was some, he could do winter ball. So he got to do some of the winter ball in the Dominican. I know, Danny Santana is obviously number 9. And you look at him for his season, and
he's going to be the leadoff hitter next year.
Yeah, I mean, he's outperforming what he should. There were some things that he did that they point out where he went to a no movement swing.
Okay,
right when you watch him,
Guzman.
Yeah, it's just and strong enough to hit the gaps and run.
Yep.
Obviously he's fast.
He's fast.
What now we can this is a next topic. It's just what do you do with him next year? This has been the he's a shortstop. Mm-hmm. You saw the Dominican Academy before. That's where he, where he came from. But they put him in center because we got no center fielders.
Right. It feels like they don't want to necessarily put him at short. Because right now would be the time to do it, and he was still playing center, Thursday night, Friday night? Yeah. I mean, within the last, with Hicks up here, he was playing shortstop. So it feels like they don't necessarily want him to be the shortstop. What do you think on that? I mean, somebody has to play shortstop.
That definitely could be. I mean, there's a lot of he's made a lot of errors with his arm. He's got a very strong arm.
Right.
Got a lot of good range.
Right.
But I think either he's in that where he shouldn't throw the ball, and then he thinks that he has such a good arm that he's going to try to rifle it over anyways.
Okay.
And kind of makes little mistakes like that or off balance throws. So I'd like to see him long term develop at shortstop.
Right. I feel like they're
versus just a stopgap in center until Buxton gets
right. I feel like they're letting good be the enemy of perfect. Is that a cliche? Like
I'm going to write that. Hang on.
He might be a good shortstop, and they're
the enemy.
They're keeping him up because he's not going to be Cal Ripken in his prime at shortstop or whatever. I mean, he's not going to be he's not going to win a Gold Glove at short. Doesn't mean he can't stick at short for a couple years.
Right.
Seems like he'd be a good shortstop.
And as Patrick Royce pointed out to me on Twitter that he could be a stopgap until Nick Gordon shows up, which is
it's 3 years.
Yeah, it's
4 years.
I don't think that's a stopgap.
Right.
That's a window that you've got
right.
a shortstop. So I mean, either you're going into next season with Eduardo Escobar or perhaps another solution, and then using Danny Santana at center until Buxton's there. Then you got to move him where. And so the message to me seems like, are you using him as do you like him as a long-term option?
Right. It just feels like they don't.
As anything. Right.
Yeah, they kind of want him to be what they convinced themselves Jason Bartlett could be, like super utility. Although he can actually do all of that.
He's young enough.
He's young enough, and he actually can play center. Mm-hmm. But again, this week it was still more of he's just not. He's good. He's fast. He's rangy, but he's just not.
Yeah, he had a throw to the plate where I think Hicks nails the guy.
Right. He's just not. He doesn't do the things that someone who's been at that position for 15 years knows how to do. He's the raw talent is there, but the little refined, efficient things that somebody who is a really good center fielder, like I feel like guys like even the leagues we play in, the guys that are really good, they know these little tricks and stuff like that. They're like, man, I can't do that.
Little tricks. The hidden ball one.
Right.
That gets everybody. Right? You can't do the first to third pickoff anymore. So
Falling out the hard way.
I don't know what other tricks you can use.
But
the frozen ball trick, right, from Major League 3.
I refuse to watch it.
Holy shit!
I'm not watching that.
That was in Minnesota.
2 was terrible.
Yeah.
And then they said 3 was worse. So I was like, I'm out.
What else are you doing? What else were you doing in college that you couldn't watch Major League 3 when it was on TBS?
I literally don't remember.
All right, that's okay.